All right, welcome to the Fairfield Shellfish Commission meeting, June 11th, 2025. Present John Short, Bruce Keithner, Lizette Enhofer, Cindy Wakeman. We have a quorum. So we'll do the approval of draft meeting minutes, May 14th, 2025. Did everyone have a chance to look at that? Any corrections or changes? I didn't see anything.
Look good to me.
All right, does someone want to make a motion to approve the meeting minutes of May 14th, 2025?
So moved.
I'll second the motion.
All in favor?
Good.
Aye. Motion approved. Okay. Go to committee reports. Clam relay and planting. Tomorrow we'll be putting in clams for the clam clinic at 12 noon. So the beds will have Tim Bishop closed. Tim, you're on? Yeah.
Hi, everybody.
How you doing? I was just saying I'll call you at noon tomorrow. You could shut the beds. That's
Yeah, that's fine.
All right.
Yeah, my guys are ready.
Yeah, I talked to JP today. So on the clam relay, we're putting in approximately $2,500 worth of clams. I'll know the amount when I get the form tomorrow. Hopefully they were able to catch all of them. The weather was off, so well, we'll see. They haven't called. So anything else on clam relay or planting? Water and habitat quality. Mindy?
Yeah, and I'll do the permits. So we'll switch over to May. We were open 22 days in May. We were closed for 9. We had 5.89 inches of rain in the month of May. We've been closed 20 days so far in 2025.
Status is open now, right?
We are open now.
Anything else on water and habitat? All right. Who wants to do permits and access?
Do that. So far we have 103 resident, 101 senior, and 12 non-residents. Total permits issued so far is 216. Applications by mail is 43, and applications online is 184.
That's pretty good. We should be able to get a lot of people interested in the clinic, hopefully.
We're about 100, a little less than 100 off from last year's total.
Yeah.
We were 216 now and we were 312 last year. So.
Yeah. So at the last meeting, we sold 183 on the same exact day as the year before. So we're keeping up. We should be able to sell quite a few at the. Yeah. People interested at the clinic. Is someone else on the line there?
Hi, it's Kendra. I'm here.
Oh, hi, Kendra.
So sorry to hear about your mom.
Thank you so much. It's been a very tough couple of weeks, let alone days. She passed on Monday, but thank you all so much. But I know how important tonight's meeting is with our wonderful clinic on Saturday, so I didn't want to miss it.
All right. We're on permits and access right now, and I think we're going to move on to Southport Beach reopening. No report. Commercial shellfish regulations. I emailed Dave Carey and asked to talk with him about commercial shellfish regulations. So hopefully me and him can get together and see what some other towns do and possibly set some regulations for Fairfield.
Okay, awesome. I did share all of this. Oh, do you want to go in order, or do you want me to?
Yes, we have to go by the agenda. I'll be reading off the topics and then we'll comment on them or report. All right. So in oyster bed development. So this year the state has come out with new guidance on restoration, and it's fairly restrictive. They don't want restoration happening in tidal wetlands, but I did talk to Dave Carey at the Aquaculture Department, and he said that we can place shell in Ash Creek, the southern edge of our recreational bed, or near where the dredging went on, but sort of towards the beach. So on that note, Bruce got an email from the Harbor Commission that stated that the dredged material that was placed in an area has shifted already and is unstable and has moved towards shore, almost all of it. So right now it's not suitable for an oyster bed. So I talked to Dave about that also, and he said that that sand should start working its way back and fill up the holes. So we'll see how that goes. But as of now, outside of Southport Beach, that area that was a planned oyster bed is on hold until we find out what goes on with this dredge material. Also, oyster bed development. I was down at the SPAC collectors on Sunday, and we're planning on doing about 30 SPAC collectors. So those have to get into the marsh by the last week of June. So it'd probably take about an hour to do. I don't know if I'll send an email out, and if anyone can meet down there. If not, I've got a couple volunteers that can help out.
We also need to coat them first, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about, coating I'm talking about.
Okay.
And then, yes, they have to be put in also. I have a few people that are interested in volunteering, some younger people, so I say we take advantage of that.
I also just, if we ever need, have young people that are willing to volunteer as well.
Okay, great. Anything else on oyster bed development?
Did the regulations have anything to do with where we put shell last year in the area behind the road behind Southport Beach, where we dumped a bunch of shell last year?
Yeah, that's off limits now too, so.
Okay.
But that's fine. I mean, we've been doing this for 10 years, so we know what we're doing. What they're trying to eliminate is oysters way up close on the shore where people can just go pick them, and they're prohibited areas. So we have to recognize where we're putting them and kind of do it in a, I don't know how that works, but it is how the state wants it done. Oyster bed development, Tim Bishop. So we got a bunch of shell, and it's got to go in. Not all, whatever we can get in. Do you think you'll have guys like a couple times before maybe the end of the month, or?
Yeah, could make that happen. We
Alright.
could discuss some dates.
Yeah, so we'll coordinate after the clinic and see what we can do. All right.
Sounds good. Thank you.
All right, communications. So Kendra's been getting a lot of stuff out on Instagram, but nothing's getting onto Facebook. So Kendra, do you not have access to Facebook? Are you not an admin on that?
I'm actually not sure. Normally, it'll ask me, would you like to share this on Facebook as well? And then you have an option to, of course, say yes. So it may not be working. I know that the link on Instagram, when I go onto the link at the top of the page, that does not go to anything either. It's not working.
All right.
I posted last night.
Okay, so Lizette posted last night for the clinic, and you're gonna post today to
I'm
see
gonna
if
post
any
again today. I'm gonna post
for
pictures
volunteers?
I'm gonna post pictures from previous years, and I'll put a thing for volunteers.
Sounds good.
I also posted on Moms of Fairfield. I cannot ask for volunteers on Moms of Fairfield, but they did let me post about the
That's fine.
about the clinic.
So it's been
Oh,
shared.
wow, that's wild, because
Yeah, go
I
ahead.
put it on Moms of Fairfield. That's wild that they let, I don't think that they typically do, maybe it's Fairfield Moms, or I think maybe there's two different ones, but the ones that I put on Instagram, I redid the flyer, and Moms of Fairfield shared for me. She's a friend of mine, and I've been on with her all week.
Well,
So, and I directed people to the Instagram, so it's dozens and dozens of additional new followers.
yeah, and I saw it on the first selectman's email, town newsletter. So,
And the rec department at some point had shared it also on their page.
yeah, so we should get people. As long as the weather is pretty good, we'll be okay.
Yeah,
I don't know if we could
and
reach
as long
out,
as the water is okay.
I don't know if we could reach out to them and ask him if he could bump it out again, maybe on Friday,
Okay.
so people are looking stuff for the weekend.
If you, Tim, would you be able to, if you see anyone?
Just ask the Parks and Rec
Yeah.
department to share it again. They've shared it before, that's why. I
Instagram?
And both, Facebook and
This
Instagram.
is Instagram?
Facebook too.
Okay. Yeah, I know who to talk to.
Yeah, thanks, Tim.
I'll make a note now.
Okay, so the only other post is Lizette's gonna do, see if, put something up for volunteers. And, that's it for now. Upwellers.
Okay, and just to follow up on the Instagram post that I had, the Fairfield Moms put, we have almost 100 likes already on that.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
So, on that also, communications is, during the Mill River wetland thing, I told every single group that came to my table that it was going on. So we may get a lot of people, or we may not.
I hope so. I think so. Yeah.
All right, so we're
I
gonna
think
move on.
we'll do that.
We're gonna move on to upwellers. So we're not gonna start the upwellers until, so the oysters we have at the docks, they're a little bit too big for the upwellers. So we're able to use them for the Mill River wetland thing, but for the upwellers, I talked to Jimmy Bloom, and he said, yeah, if we want some oyster seed to put in there just to grow out, we can do that, and then plant it afterwards. So that'll probably be in about a month. It's really too busy right now, between the spat collectors and Shell. Like, I don't have any
Yeah.
time to do the upwellers right now, so I'll just wait on that. I'd like to find a couple of volunteers that are interested in putting some time in on that also, so we'll work on that. All right, so we go to reports from the Conservation Department. The Shellfish Fund balance is $32,170.57 as of May 31st, 2025. That will change a lot after our clinic. The permits as reported, 216 as of May 31st, 2025. Closure period as of May 31st, open 131 days, closed 20. And our Shellfish Commission budget status is no report on that, right, Jeff?
That's correct.
All right, so move on to old business. We discussed our plans and goals last meeting. We're going to skip that this meeting because we want to go on to the clam clinic discussion and planning. So we'll just start with Tim. Are the police officers all set for Saturday morning?
Yeah, I spoke with the chief. We're good.
Okay. And then you have a couple guys that are going to be there that day? Or in the morning?
Yeah, you'll have JP and John who worked it last year, so they're familiar.
All right, perfect. If they still have their shirts from last year, I don't mind if you don't mind them wearing them, unless you want them to wear Town of Fairfield shirts.
No, it doesn't matter. It's commission's event. They could wear the red shirt if they have it.
All right. And then we probably need a chest of ice filled on Friday. I don't know if someone's able to fill it down at the workshop, or if we have to go down and grab the chest out of the storage locker. I'll try to get down there if I can. What time do the guys usually leave?
Okay. Yeah. No, they're out by 3:30.
3:30? Okay. I'll get there by 3:30 then. Unless someone else you want to meet me down.
Okay.
I can try.
I'm at work.
Alright.
I'm not done till Monday.
And then we probably have to meet to put all the rakes and stuff on the trailer, right? So, well, that's gotta be loaded up.
On Friday.
Yeah, I have a couple
Yeah,
of.
My guys could do that if you want.
Yeah,
on
if
Friday.
If they could load the rakes, that would be great. And then, like, the cooler and stuff like that, we'll be able to put in another truck, I guess. Whatever they can get onto the trailer, probably the rakes and the tent are best. And then I think,
Okay.
handle the rest.
Yeah, no problem. I got 4 college kids this year, so
Oh.
we got extra hands.
All right, get as much on there as you can.
Thank you.
Now I don't feel bad, have them load the
Yeah, no problem.
Do we have enough bags? Did we check?
So there's bags in the locker. When I go to pick up the clams tomorrow, I'll ask for some more bags. All right, Cindy, you did gift cards?
So we agreed on I was due 6.
Yep.
Okay.
And then I'm getting 6 more. And then Cops Island is donating a nice prize. I'm taking the day off tomorrow, so I'm gonna stop by Nordic Fish, and he usually gives us a gift card, and then I'll grab one from somewhere else for our prizes. Lizette, you're doing the Facebook stuff, all right?
I'm busy.
Yeah.
Like I'm,
I know,
yeah.
I'm going around the room.
Yeah.
All
I'm
right,
looking at the Facebook things I can do at night at home, yeah.
Bruce,
Music.
oh, you're the music.
Yes, so they actually can't get there until 8 a.m. Because I guess one of the people comes from like an hour away. They did not realize we had such an early start time.
Yeah.
So they'll be there at 8. I mean, it doesn't take them long to set up.
Takes 15 minutes to set. Do they bring their own tent, or do we give them a tent?
We
We
supply
have
one.
given them a tent in the
Okay.
past, but I mean, it's gonna be so early in the morning, like, although if it's rainy, I guess they may need a tent. But we did give them
So
a
we'll
tent.
just set up the tent for
Strong
them.
likelihood
They
that
can
it's
just
gonna
bring
rain.
their instruments in.
Yeah,
I grabbed the cash for them, so that's all set. All right, so band is good.
the band is good. Yep, I was texting with her yesterday.
Okay, Bruce.
Yeah, I've got cups, spoons, and napkins
Napkins, okay.
in large quantities. I think you don't need any chowder. That's taken care of. And we're gonna get some you want to get 2 tablecloths?
Yeah, I was gonna grab 2 tablecloths, just to make it look a little nicer on the area. I think that's fine, just the chowder. We don't need the crackers this year, they were banned in that.
No,
Yeah.
I can,
She was early in the morning.
I can get from church what we use for the pancake breakfast. It's not a tablecloth per se, but it's stars and stripes, and that's what we put on all the picnic tables.
Right.
And we get rolls of it. You just roll it out and tape it underneath. I mean,
Okay. So, all right, you got that. All right, here's one thing we haven't done is, I went to Mark's Art, found out about shirts and hats. He can get them done by Friday, if we want them. The hats are 17 and change, and the shirts are 13 and change. So, and then he can also do hats for the commissioners. So, in all, between,
if we get a hat for $17,
we're not really making any money on it, it's just for
We're not
promotion.
really looking to make money on them. It's
Yeah.
not like we're looking to make money off of them.
It's just for people that want to wear a Fairfield Shellfish Commission, and it
Yeah.
gets more people interested. A lot of people bought last year, we sold like 34 shirts or something like that at $20 a piece. So,
What we make off the shirts.
I was
we
thinking
can offset the
like-
cost on the hats. 20 each, just
So
make
the
it
blue
even.
shirts, we could get 24 of those, and then the red shirts, 12 of those, and then there were two different color hats that were like a blue color
Why
and
don't
a
we
gray
just get
color.
everything the same? Isn't
No,
it
because the
easier?
red
Because
ones
you
are
want
sort
the-
of like we sort of give to volunteers sometimes or wear ourselves.
So to separate, so when people are out there and they're like, oh, that person in the
Yeah.
red shirt, that's someone that knows what they're doing,
People
that's someone that
wearing
can
red
help us.
are
And
important.
then-
That's
so
someone
then
who can help us.
There's a hat that has just Fairfield Shellfish Commission with the clam, and it says "We Dig Clams" on the back.
I like that,
And that would be a red color, and that would just be for commissioners,
I like that.
so that we can differentiate ourselves. And then there's a gray hat and a light blue hat.
I think gray,
So all in all, the stuff will, it starts to add up to a lot of numbers of hats and all that,
yeah.
but we'd have to approve like $1,500.
We haven't bought new merch since I've been on the commission.
No, yeah,
No, we haven't,
yeah, because there's two different kinds of red shirts.
no. I don't
Yeah.
think we have.
No, because,
I think Allison was the last one buying them, I don't think we
no,
have.
so Allison was on the list on the
Oh, did
email
Tim
list.
give more? Oh.
And Tim was on
Oh,
the
maybe
email
Tim.
list.
I just remember,
So now I'm on it. So also I changed the shirt from Sasko Hill Beach to Sasko Beach because that's its actual name.
okay,
I went on the map and everything and it's Sasko Beach. So I changed it just to Sasko Beach. But
Okay.
we'd have to approve the money, so. Let me just add this up. He didn't get, so Mark Czar said he was gonna send me a quote and you have to pay 50% this and that. It's very hard to get a quote, or they can do the shirts and all that, that's what they do, but the business end of it,
So how about if we approve $1,600? Just,
I was even if we approve up to 2,000,
yeah,
we have it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have to spend it up to say we're covered.
I think 1,500 covers it.
Why don't we just go up to 16?
All right. It's probably gonna be less than that, but, okay.
I mean, it's less than that, we're just not using what we approved, it's,
Right, and we're gonna sell a ton of it anyway. All that stuff comes in handy, people do things for us, like when the lady made the chowder, we gave her a shirt and that. So they're good to have. Who wants to make the motion?
make the motion to approve $1,600 for commission merch
No,
sell.
from the Shellfish Fund.
from the Shellfish Fund.
Who seconds?
Second.
All in favor? Aye, motion approved. All right, so I will text the guy tonight and say, go ahead. And he has like all the stuff.
Where's he located?
Ferry Boulevard in Stratford. So, not a big deal. All right. What else do we got? All right, so Mill River Wetland, they want to have a table at the event, so I said, okay. Sea Grant contacted me this week, they want to have a table at the event. I said, okay. On one condition, they only bring one car into the parking lot, at most two, but just try to stick with one. We have to be there early.
what time? 7?
I was gonna get there at 6:30.
So,
If everyone shows up at 7, the volunteers,
No,
we've
I mean,
listed for 7:30. So, there's stuff to be unloaded in that.
Yeah.
I got a couple volunteers that are gonna be with me, a few of them. So we can start unloading in that. And then you guys show up, it just makes everything work out.
Yeah, putting up the tents, I mean, you need a bunch of people to do that.
Well,
You need 6
You need
people on the
10
big
people.
tent, and it's better to
4
have 4 people on those small tents. Everyone knows that I'm injured, right?
Yeah.
So I can only use this hand at this event.
so you should probably stay out of the water.
you're staying out of the water.
Yeah, you gotta stay out of the water.
No, they okayed me today to use, to get it wet and everything.
I didn't think they meant Long Island Sound.
I read a report today that Sasko is the only beach that's open right now.
I know, but still, I would not.
Yeah.
I'll put a I'll put a
John,
rubber-
you've already endangered that finger once.
All right,
A
so,
little big ribble and.
no, so if,
You don't want it to come apart. I
so,
mean, you suck
show
it
up
back
at the
together.
beach between 6:30 and 7. Kendra, are you gonna be able to make it?
Yes, I will
Okay.
be there. And my husband will come to volunteer.
Oh, excellent.
Does Leah, is she gonna handle the raffle stuff?
Yeah.
She's got the signs and all that stuff?
Yeah, she's got all that.
Yeah, what about the signs? Because we had signs that said chowder and,
They're in the container.
okay.
We didn't use them last year, but I found them and we'll bring them.
Oh, good.
I'll be around tomorrow. I'll be around Friday after work, you know. So it'll be, you know, it's what I do.
John, give me a shout.
Yeah, I will. What else do we need to know? What else do we need to do?
So we have.
Weather is reasonably good.
Yes,
All right, you guys want to talk about the weather?
Mm-hmm.
Because it's gonna rain.
as of right now, it's like 50%, and it's supposed to be early in the morning.
Yeah, but it's only like, it says, it was 0.43 inches and now they reduced it to 0.29 or 0.28. So maybe it'll go down again. We've done it in the rain before. It's like a 0.1 an hour or something like that. It's probably gonna be a little wet, a little drizzly. You guys got your raincoats.
Yeah, we wear our raincoats.
Yeah. We're gonna have to deal with it.
But
I mean, like, the only thing that would stop it would be if we have thunderstorms, right?
Yeah, if there was a
If
thunder,
there are thunderstorms, we can't.
But there's no thunder.
Okay.
it's gonna be like a
So regular
drizzle
rain?
or a little drizzle going
Okay.
on. Yeah, it dampens it,
What's
you
the
know,
water
in a few
temperature?
different ways.
Water temperature's probably a little.
Water temperature's still pretty cold.
Yeah.
You know, we'll go over safety and that before the event when I make the announcements. So this year, please, like, I forgot to put out the signs for the QR code last year. And then when I get behind that loudspeaker, I forget what I'm gonna say. So I'm gonna write down a list of things I need to say. But if you don't see me with it, tell me to grab it before I get that.
Right.
Write it on your palm.
Tim, you got anything else for the clinic? You think we're good?
Yeah, I think so. I'm gonna print up and laminate a few extra QR code flyers so we have them.
And were you planning on coming or you can't come? I forgot.
Yeah, no, I'll be there with my kids. They love it, so
Yeah, awesome.
we'll get in the water and get wet.
What a good dad.
Make sure I'll tell you where
I don't even eat clams, but they have fun.
I'll make a couple of honey holes. I'll tell you where they are. All right. So we want to move off of the clam discussion. Are we good?
Yep.
Yeah.
All right.
Will we be able to print some maps and hand those out of where shellfishing is allowed and not allowed?
So we have the. Do we still give out a map with the permits? Don't we give
Yes.
out a map and a set of regulations?
Yeah.
But I'm
Yes.
saying because permits aren't required this time. I've had some people texting that are going to come and don't have permits. So do we have maps just to hand out? Also for the future, for people that want to go shellfishing throughout the summer?
Well, I don't understand. A map of the shellfish grounds?
Yes, of where they're able to shellfish and
Yes,
where
so
they're
when they
not.
buy the
or is it all-
permit, when they buy the permit, they receive a map with all the regulations on the other side of it.
Well, but for the event itself, we announce where the clams are, and basically that's pretty much where everybody makes a beeline to, is between point A and point B, and they just go out.
Yeah, so the whole thing behind the clinic is we're actually have volunteers and some of us, which, you know, there's a few, teach people how to clam. So there's really no way anyone could get off the grounds. It goes out too far, it goes all the way to Kenzie Point, and then it goes over to the edge of the Country Club's Beach Club. All the clams we dump are basically between two buoys. So most people will just clam in between those buoys. But yeah,
Okay.
I don't know if I want to print up too much
I
extra
think there'll be maps,
garbage.
like,
Yeah,
I think be extra garbage around the beach and whatnot. Like, people are gonna be carrying them out in the water.
we can have one like in,
Laminated.
could you laminate one for us, Tim?
Yeah, no problem. I'll make a note.
Alright. We'll have one laminated on the table with, where the permit QR codes are.
But the shellfish beds are basically between the breakwater and Kinsey Point. I mean,
That's
when
it.
you look out there, that's where it is, you know. And
Okay, perfect.
so
Thank you.
it's pretty straightforward because every well seems far away.
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna move on to new business. Mill River wetland canceled. I'm gonna put them back on for next meeting.
Okay.
Discussion regarding alternate Shellfish Commission members. They went to the RTM meeting. I guess they call it to testify or something or whatever, a report in front of the full RTM. And I was asked one question. I answered it, and that was it. So I guess there's a vote coming up, and they'll vote on it, and eventually we'll get alternate members.
Okay.
It seems like it should go through no problem, because it went through committee unanimous, so if there was only one question, either everyone's voting no, or let's just say yes.
Yeah, it's not an outrageous request.
All right, so we got on new business, the status of all shucks and options of replacement. So, conservation staff was on all shucks 2 weeks ago, and the side was moving around a little bit. So I think it's been secured now. We are going to use the boat tomorrow. Tim, do you have an updated status on all shucks?
I know Tom did a little work on it. He's off this week, but last week, they're keeping it at a different docked location to get less beat up by the waves. Yeah, I think there was some. Tom described or JP described some extra flex in the side of the boat. So I think that's the concern, is starting to get wood rot and it needs a repair there. But I think anyone that's been on it lately would agree that it's kind of a band-aid on a gunshot wound, which we've known. I think the time's coming, but I think we're at the point where we're gonna have to pull the trigger on a replacement sooner than later.
Right. So, yeah, tomorrow's gonna be a real test when we put some weight in it. It should be fine. We're in shallow water with,
Bring your PDF.
But the boat needs to be replaced. I think the Shellfish Commission is willing to put in money if necessary on that. So we can possibly buy a used boat, right, Tim?
That's correct. Have that ability, and I've confirmed that with purchasing department.
And there's been a couple of boats that have been offered. One of them was unsuitable, it's just too old. And is this other one still in consideration? From the,
I haven't seen it.
yeah,
Yeah, I haven't seen it.
it's a pleasure boat, but it's got a lot of space. It's an open bow. I haven't seen it either. Tom Course talked to me about it and wanted to know if I wanted to go over with him and take a look at it. So we'll see how that goes after the clinic.
Can you take some pictures and send it to us as a group email, just so we can?
Yeah, if it's something that can be considered, yeah.
Yeah, cool.
If it's not something that would work out, obviously.
Yeah.
All right, no problem.
Tim, how much of the water sampling that you do would impact the type of boat that you need?
It's bi-weekly from May through October, so it does have that demand. I think right now Tom is comfortable with our crew going out for, an event like tomorrow or water sampling in the bay because it's calm. But the greater concern is going far out to bring it from Yacht Yard back to South Benson. If there's any chop, if it's not like glass, that's when they saw a lot of bending in the wood that they didn't want to see being that far out by the lighthouse.
You,
The
Same
Marine
time.
unit was on alert it was bad enough that the Marine unit was put on alert that the boat might go down. So don't want to be in that position with my guys.
no,
No.
of course not.
I don't even, do you think it's not a thing where we'll make it through the season, or we need to start looking now?
I think looking now is good, kind of doing what we're doing. People are
Yeah.
reaching out, hey, I have a boat for sale kind of thing. Check it out. And I think if everyone would agree and, it's worth moving forward, then we do it and not wait. I think we could limp along with maybe a repair till Halloween, when we're done with the water sampling. But I think this might be like the last repair from what it sounds like. I'm not a boat guy, so for what that's worth, but this might be the last kind of big repair we have to do to keep it alive, till winter.
But how about, I mean, in terms of stability, a 19-foot Boston whaler, you can't sink. You can cut it in half and it will still stay afloat. They're incredibly durable. If it's really blowing out of the east, going from Yacht Yard to South Benson, it's going to be challenging in most boats because you're going to have a sea state. But the boat will be fine. I mean, it has low
So
freeboard.
here's the thing is with the whaler is when we put clamps in there, it's a lot of weight. Since it's very low to the water.
Oh, the
it
freeboard?
it becomes precarious. So whaler could be a consideration, but I think we need something a little more substantial or a little bit longer. And yes, this is definitely the last repair that could be done to that.
So we need to
I didn't even
actively,
see this,
so we
but
need to
I-
actively be looking
Yeah.
and jump on, but if we find something suitable, just go for it.
So that's what's being done, so that's what will happen. And like I said, if
So would we have to have a special meeting in order to approve funds? So if you find one next week, do we have to do something to approve the funds?
yeah, well,
Yes, I think we would have to.
yeah. We could do that. Let's find a boat
So
first.
she'll just be aware that there could be a special meeting.
There could be a special meeting possibly. Depending on how the funding would go and all that, it could be, that whoever it is could wait. Something like that, or go to conservation and then turn money back to conservation.
Perfect. Whatever,
However
whatever
the
we
town
need.
wants it.
whatever we need. I just don't want us to miss out if there's a good boat that we find and then
Move
lose
that.
it to somebody else. I think we should, if we find something suitable, we should do it. Because we don't know when we would find another suitable boat. So I think,
Okay.
How many feet does the boat have to be? What are we looking for?
We're probably looking for something at least 20 feet, probably around 20 feet at least. Our boat now is 22 feet. That's why it can hold so much weight. It's a flat bottom, 22 footer.
Okay.
It's made to hold weight. So we're looking for
Okay.
something probably with the least amount of seating and cushions in it, like for pleasure cruising,
Okay.
and something that has more floor space.
Commercial type.
Yeah. So, like,
Okay.
Does
If
Jimmy
it's a
Bloom
fishing-
have any ideas?
Jimmy does not have any ideas. I talked to him. All right, so we're gonna go on to informational. Bruce, you have something, right?
You know, on the Shellfish Pit Is that what you want to talk
Oh, yeah, well,
about? I want to talk about that.
want to talk about that? All right. Bruce wants to talk about the webpage and the Shellfish Bed status.
The shellfish bed status right now automatically puts an update date. For instance, I don't know what it is now, but
May 16th.
May
I
16th.
looked at it yesterday.
So that if you go onto the website, and I've been asked by permit holders, well, what's the shellfish bed status? And I said, well, you go on with the QR. They say, yeah, but it's not current. And I say, what do you mean? And it says it was updated in May. And I went to IT because I thought it would save you, I didn't want to bother you with it, Tim, and talked to them about it, saying, can you delete the update message? And ideally, you would delete that and automatically put up the current date, because if there's no change, you don't need to be bothered fiddling with it. And I called them back today to say, how are you doing? And I couldn't get a hold of Dave, but the fellow on the help desk said, oh, no, you got to talk to your boss, Tim Bishop. And I said, okay. And Tim has to put in a request to change that, but you can't make this request. So that's what it's about. But when it says updated in May, it's very confusing to people because it makes us look like we're not staying current.
I even questioned it yesterday. I was like,
Okay.
I questioned it yesterday too. I was like, has it not updated since May, or has it just been open since then? So I think it should have the current date,
It's been-
say it's open or closed.
That would, it's all done manually, so I either have to go in myself and update it every day,
No, well,
or just delete it, but that day right now is the day that it last changed, so
Right.
if it's
So-
May, then it hasn't changed since May.
Right, so to me, it seems like
Seems pretty
almost better
basic.
because it tells you the
So
beds are
can we-
opened on the 16th and they're still open.
So could there be something?
And it'll
if you're-
also tell you when they closed, it gives everyone a reference date as to when it closed.
Right. But
Right.
could it say, like,
Tim,
opened on May 16th, remains open, and then you don't change it again, and then when it changes, you go in and you manually type, you change it to closed on such and such a date?
I
So it's
told.
less confusing, because it is kind of
Sure.
confusing. It
Tim,
just says
I told
updated.
IT, I said, Tim doesn't have time to go in there every single day.
IT can't do the website. The webmaster is different than IT. They're
But
two different.
they said they'd have to go to put in a request and go to the webmaster because that's a different department. But I thought that if they could leave off the updated notation, and if they could put an automatic date, current date, so that it always said June 11th, tomorrow it said June 12th. And you didn't have to do anything. And, because
I don't know if they could write new code for that, but I could ask Mary about that. She's the webmaster.
What about just deleting it then?
Or just writing opened as of such and such date.
I think it's part of the program where it says
Oh.
last updated, you know?
Yeah.
So myself,
I write that.
I think it's, oh, you
Oh,
wrote that?
you write that? So maybe just change the wording. Open
Yeah, I
as
write that.
of such and
Whatever you
such.
guys want, you tell me. I'll do it right
Closed
now.
Just opened as of dot dot dot, and then when you close it, you put closed as of such and such date.
Do it, you Bruce?
And that takes away the confusion.
I think that what Tim came up with in terms of the graphics and it's open or closed with the clam is wonderful. It's very clear. And if you just leave the update message off, people go in there, they assume that it's current as of the day that they're looking at it.
That's true
If you
too.
could put the date there, the current date, not you, but IT or the webmaster, if Mary could do that, that would be wonderful.
Wait, so no one's
He's saying
gonna go
they
in
can't.
that computer every day and change the date?
No,
Saying they
I'm-
can't.
Yeah.
No, I'm not
He's saying
talking.
they can't do
They
that.
can't do that. They have to go in and manually do
He
it.
said they have to manually do it.
But we don't know that. Mary may be able to push the current date. Your phone automatically tells you what day it is. I mean, those are things, the magic of
Yeah,
web pages. I mean, we can ask, if they say they can't do it, they can't do it. But for Tim to have to go in there all the time is it impractical?
So how's this sound, Tim? If it
In the meantime, we're okay with last opened on May 16th? Is that the language we want for now?
I would say opened as of.
Opened as of?
Opened as of, then closed as of. If it's out there,
Remains.
remains open.
The less words, the better, I think.
That's why I said, just leave the words out. Don't put any words there.
Yeah,
Just,
just leave it blank.
you've got it all figured out. There's a clam that's either open or closed. That's what it is.
That's
And
true
it's-
too.
It's very simple to understand.
Yeah, because really, yeah, you see the open or the closed sign. Yeah, either way.
All right. Next on information, I just want to report on the River Lab at Estuary Tour with Mill River Wetland. Went really well. I actually was able to go to all the sessions, and it gets the same thing over and over, but it was great. We were able to use the oysters we had on the dock. So I ran a table with like 2 bags of spat on shell, and then a big tank with a bunch of oysters we pulled out of the creek that were from shell we put in, with all little critters in there, and then a couple bags of oysters we had, and I cracked one open so the kids could take the oysters out. Every day we had shrimp and crabs and snails and stuff, so
The
it
kids,
kept them interested.
the kids really loved it. I mean, especially the tank with the snails and the crabs, and they would go to pick it up and they were really intrigued. And as you would expect, there's some kids that could care less or whatever, but that's how it is. And then they had,
My
you know,
son-
John's son.
He
was-
volunteered also, so he was there every day. He got home from college, went to my daughter's graduation, got home, I'm like, you got a volunteer opportunity.
Guess what?
So he did it, and he handled the shell, and we set a little area aside, and they were able to put shell into the creek, and they'll be able to go see it in the fall now, because they're doing a fall river lab, estuary.
Same age group?
I don't know, but
Is it
they'll be able to
eighth
see the
graders?
spat.
Yeah.
Yeah, it might be a different group of 7th graders. So that went really well. You know, they probably are going to want us in the future. So
I thought it was pretty impressive because they do a very good job. They have about, what, 6 volunteers, something like that?
yeah, they have 6 volunteers that go around with 6 or 8
6
teachers.
groups.
And they all have a group of about 12 to 15 kids, and they stop at each thing. And so, you know, I explained why I was there, and, you know, because we've been doing this restoration. And some kids really got into it, like they answer questions, they asked a lot of questions. You know, other kids, aquaculture's not for them. But they all sat down at the table, they were very respectful and everything like that, so it went very well.
And I think you also, I think you had an impact on the volunteers themselves, because now they know what we're doing, and they're gonna talk about this. This is something that, although I talked to my grandson, who was one of the kids. I said, did you go down there? Because I wasn't there the day he was. And he says, yeah, I guess so.
All right, so we'll go on to the next one is, at the RTM meeting, Bill Gerber asked me to walk in the parade with him. Or was that the RTM? Yeah. And so I said, sure, and he said, invite anyone else on the commission. But it ended up being me. And so, you know, we lined up with a bunch of the local politicians, and then we started walking, and they walked very, very fast. And Bill walked really slow, and stuck in the middle. And then Bill disappeared a couple times, and I couldn't catch up with everyone else. So I was like walking by myself, and then I waited on the side of the road for 10 minutes, let Bill catch up, and then finished the last leg.
Didn't we used to, the Shucks used to be inside the parade. They put dog
Yeah.
tags in the parade.
Yeah, it's a little worn out.
It's a little too worn for that these days. Maybe
But,
next year. Maybe
So
next
at the
year.
end of it, I went up and shook his hand and he said, oh, I said, thanks. He goes, oh, I thought you were gonna walk with me. I'm like, seriously? Thank you.
Aw, cute,
No,
yeah.
it went great. I don't know if I have any more information, but anyone got anything else? All right. Anything other?
In the last,
Go ahead.
sorry, John, in the last informational, you had mentioned the Fairfield Neighbors Magazine and Greenfield Hill Magazine, asking Kendra if she'd be
Oh,
willing
yeah.
to write. Did you want me to write something, and also the newsletter? Did you
Um,
have,
All right, so I talked to Liz Donnelly today, who contacted me about that, and she sent over a couple of articles to look at. So, yeah, we'll talk about that at the, different kinds of things that we could put in
Okay.
at the clinic. But yeah, I wanted to get some decent pictures at the clinic, and I'll read those articles. Maybe I'll
Okay.
send them to you. And we have a deadline on that. So we could either do the August
Okay.
issue, the July issue, the August issue, or the September issue. I think we're
Okay.
What magazine is that again?
Fairfield Neighbors.
Fairfield Neighbors?
Yes, Fairfield Neighbors and Greenfield Hill
Yeah.
Magazine.
I guess it gets mailed out. Is it the real? I don't know if
Yeah,
that's
the
a
Neighbors.
nice magazine. There's a lot of advertisement, but yeah.
Yeah.
So we need some good pictures if we're
Yeah,
gonna
to call
Realtors and
realtors.
be on
Yes.
be on high quality print.
Yeah.
Now, Kendra, the more pictures you can get at the clam
Okay.
clinic, the better.
Mhm.
That's really fun.
Last note, since you're talking, Kendra, is the newsletter. Remember I said we'll wait till the meeting to discuss that?
Mhm.
Would you mind doing the newsletter after the clinic and adding a big chunk about the clinic into the newsletter?
Okay.
I think
Sure.
we got plenty of advertising out now. We don't need to rush it out, but it would give you some good
Okay.
material,
Perfect.
And you can
Awesome.
get a bunch of pictures.
And You got it. Happy to. And I don't know if they're coming or not, but Tony Huang may be coming, and Channel 12, I asked them, they'll see if they can make it or not.
Okay, good. Yeah,
When he usually comes.
when he heard 8 a.m. At the parade,
He was like, what?
he walked even faster. No. Tony, he's gonna try to make it. I did invite Kristen McCarthy-Vahey, I invited Jennifer Leeper, I invited Bill Gerber. They were all the politicians that were there. Hopefully they all show, but
Okay.
be a good day. All right, so if anyone needs anything or whatever, text me, let me know what's going on, if something's not working out. I'll text you guys if we need to meet or anything like that, and if you can't, you can't. But so far, I know we got 5 commissioners at the clinic, just like last year. I'll contact you and say, Hugh, we need you, so please show up.
Is Sean coming back?
Sean is gonna be in Poland,
Oh, so I can't.
and then I'll have all,
I'll go. It sounds like too much fun to miss.
It is so much
oh,
fun.
you're going to the clinic?
I'll go in the morning. I know, I have a gig Friday night, but I'll make it.
She'll
You know what
drag
to do,
herself in.
right?
Huh?
You know what you're supposed to do,
Supposed to sing.
stay up all night,
Been there, done that.
sleep at the beach. All right, so let's plan on hopefully a dry and happy day.
Yeah.
All
Yeah.
right.
Can't wait. Thank you all so much.
Who wants to make a motion? Don't go yet. Who's gonna make a motion to
Okay.
adjourn the meeting?
Yes.
I'll make a,
Go, yeah.
I'll make a motion to end the meeting of
Good.
June 11th.
June 11th.
I second the motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, meeting adjourned.
Bye.